Hello, everybody. So we are here today at a different kind of podcast. In this case, it's actually an interview, a one-on-one interview. And today we have our special guest, WOOKfett. I will spam his link in the chat. If you're not a follower of WOOKfett yet, please give him a follow. He's a really nice guy. And what this interview is actually about, I want to give you guys a little bit of a timeline. We want to get to know WOOKfett. We want to know who this guy is, what he does, why he is streaming. Then we're going to dive into a little bit of gaming, and especially contractors-wise. And then at the end of the video, or at the end of the interview, we are going to give the chat a chance to ask questions to WOOKfett. So what I would like to start with, Wook, is what actually got you into streaming? Like streaming overall, eh? We're not talking about contractors, we're talking about you.
Just to let people see my fucked up shit that I was doing. Like I was playing flat screen PS4 and it was just easy enough to click go live.
All right.
So I just did that and I'd let my buddies watch what was going on. And then yeah, it led to VR.
And
after years and years.
How many years ago did you start streaming?
God.
Ooh.
14 years ago, probably.
14 years ago. And
like, on long time. Well, maybe not 14. Whenever the PS4 really kind of came out. So it would have been like what, 12? 12 years.
12 years. And what was like what were the first 2-3 games that you started streaming with? Like that you told us like you wanted to start streaming to show off to your friends and like show what you're doing and that kind of stuff. It seems like it's a fun thing to do. But was it because of a specific game that you were playing with that you were actually really good at, or?
Nah, that didn't happen until I got into VR. And then that I got into for like physiotherapy and stuff like that more so. Because I'm actually disabled. I have fibromyalgia and then a bunch of nerve problems. So
Okay.
like, for example, my hand doesn't work. My left hand doesn't work properly. My left arm doesn't really function properly. I have locked up nerves and vertebrae in my neck and stuff. So like looking side to side is more of me actually like moving because my neck doesn't like to turn.
Is that something that happened at a later stage in your life, or?
No, I kind of been dealing with that my whole life, and then just kind of dealing with it, you know. So that's why we smoke weed on the heavy.
On the heavy.
And yeah, on the heavy, and yeah, you know, we just deal with it. Ain't nobody else gonna deal with it.
Yeah, because like we have played games in the past as well, and I've seen you jumping and dancing around, and you're always having a good time. So I know that people in your situation, they don't want to have like empathy from people, or that people are going to be like, oh, I feel so sorry for you, because you appear to like that you embraced what you have, and you appear like a really happy person, at least on streams, of course. But does it also mean that you are not able to work? Like you are tell me if you want to answer the question, of course.
Yeah, like we'll go into that. Like it doesn't matter to me. So I do this primarily, like this is like my source of income right now. Not to say that like I'm making a lot of money or care about how much money I make. Like I used to be a carpenter that made like 20,000 a month, you know. So like money's not anything that I value. I value, like you said, being happy, taking care of my mental, because that's what fucking matters the most, you know.
Yeah.
So I just try to take care of that mental, and then you know, girlfriend's here, she helps me out. Like when I get off stream, I'm limping and dragging myself over to the living room being like, help, help. You know, I gotta get better at shorter streams, and then do like that's what I've been trying to do, is like a morning stream and then an afternoon stream, so I could try to like split out the pain.
Yeah, take the breaks in between. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But at the same time, you know, I get lost in like, you guys are fucking awesome, all the viewers and stuff. So like I get lost in, like you said, playing around, dancing, jumping around, having fun.
Yeah.
You know.
And is there like do you have like some? Maybe it sounds a little bit cringe, but is there like some kind of life motto or like a rule that you promise yourself to always have that kind of attitude that you're at least showing on your streams? Like I said, you always appear to be like a very happy
I believe,
guy. So is there something like a rule or some kind of lifestyle that you try to follow with your condition?
yeah, I just don't believe in age. Like, I believe the body can slow you down, but like I'm damn near 40 years old now, you know. So I just try to be like, not live like a 20-year-old, but I try not to get old. You know, I've watched too many people in my life that were like professional people being like, "Oh, I'm 40 years old. I can't be doing that shit. Oh, I'm 35. I can't be doing that shit. Oh, I got a family. I got kids." And it's like, have fucking fun. Yeah, like if you got kids and you're having fun, your kids are gonna have so much fun. But if you got kids and you're like, I'm old, I can't do that shit, your kids are gonna be like, you know, and like, no. Like, I hate to word it that way because it's so simple, but like honestly, I just live by like, have fun, do you. If it looks fun, do it. If it looks like you could learn something, do it. Like old dogs can learn new tricks. So I think that's like the biggest thing is just don't hold yourself back because you think you're getting old. If you're in a lot of pain, there's worse pain and it's going to come tomorrow. So like just have fun today. Like I've with my health, I've lost the ability to use my legs like 3-4 times
Oh,
now. Actually, one was just a couple weeks ago. I couldn't walk for a few days. So um yeah, you know, it's just you got to have fun every day. And I was told I'd be lucky to be walking when I'm 40. So that's only a year away.
yeah, you're
Gotta,
39 years old now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I gotta just push past that, right? If I'm walking when I'm 41 years old, then it's like middle bird to everybody, you know?
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. And like you just said it and you're doing it right now. Like you're on the, I guess I say it right if I say medicinal marijuana. Um,
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about
So
it.
like, well, if I wanted to do something, I could show you guys this quick. So my background I just popped up here. This is our medicinal room. You know, between girlfriend and I, we could probably get about 100 plants going, and they're pretty. We know how to grow. We got a lot of friends that grow and stuff. But yeah, it's it's about the best medication I found out there, and I've been on a lot of strong painkillers and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Um, and then it got me to the point, and like everybody doesn't have to be like this, but I got to the point where I made an agreement with my doctor for non-pharmaceutical prescriptions
Mm-hmm.
because I was tired of them being like, "Oh, yeah, I know your shit hurts. Here's some like whatever. Take that," you know? And it's like, "Nah, nah, fix me."
And is the marijuana something you came up with yourself, or is that literally something the doctor came with, like an actual
I've been
prescription
smoking
after
since before it was cool.
before it was cool?
I you know, like it was like one of those things where like hey Phoenix, how you doing, big buddy? Uh it was one of those things where I was in high school, the doctors were giving me painkillers, and then my buddy was like, I want to smoke. And I was like, let's try it. So I went out and
Mm-hmm.
smoked with my homie, and I was like, wow, this is actually like fucking amazing. And it just like calmed me down. I felt really good. So, and I also separated my shoulder at that time playing hockey. So I was kind of fucked up in a sling,
But it like
which
you
kind of
say like
fit.
this feels good and that kind of stuff. But was it also the feeling in a way that the it relieved the pain, or was it more like the happy feeling that you got from it? Like,
Yeah, nothing can like relieve much of the pain, you know? Like if you've ever separated your shoulder, it just feels messed up
mm-hmm.
inside of it. So it just nothing really relieves the pain. It just takes you into like a place of being like, all right, like there's pain there, but like I can see past it.
Yeah.
So like it mellows and zens you to the point that you just let's do whatever. And yeah, that's kind of why I smoke. And then I got to the point where like playing hockey, I'd smoke before my games. Uh, and the guys would know when I show up to the change room. They'd be like, "Hey, did you smoke today?" No, no. And they'd be like, "Fucking get out there, dude. There's 10 minutes until the game. Like, go smoke." You know, so I'd roll one up in the change room, go smoke, come back in. And I did that through men's league too. And the guys would do the same thing. You smoke today? No. Okay, well, fucking get out there and smoke. Um, yeah. So, but again, like, I don't say that everybody should smoke. I do agree with everybody that smokes, but like if pills work for you, great. But like in my situation, I'd rather smoke this than keep getting given pills that are gonna destroy my livers and or my liver and shit. You know.
uh, to continue with like one last question on this subject, because I find it personally really interesting. Do you also
Mhm.
experience like negative side effects on smoking medicinal marijuana?
Smoking? No, not at all. Like I'm about to load up another one right now. Smoking, it would be like if you're doing dabs and stuff like that, you're smoking like fucking 80% weed and shit, like THC. So that stuff you can get fucking blasted really fast. So if you're kind of at home smoking dabs, great. But like I couldn't find myself smoking dabs out in public. Maybe like a pen where you put dabs in, but then one dab lasts like 3, 4 hits.
Yeah.
Um, and that's how I kind of got through work towards the end of my working thing was I'd have a dab pen and just hit that. But eating is like if you eat your weed, that's where you're gonna kind of notice a side effect because you're
Like
gonna be
the brownies, you
couch
mean?
ridden, yeah, like a
Yeah.
brownies
Okay.
or like I got these for when I hit 1,420 followers. I have 115 milligram gummies here. So you'll see the side effects that stream. Um, you know, yeah. Um, but then like you'll see like I got a missing tooth here that happened when I was like 7, so that's more pain. I broke my jaw and all that shit. I got smacked. Duh. I got smacked with a golf club and broke my jaw, my upper palate. I lost some teeth, fucking surgery after surgery
Oh
after
damn.
that. So I got a lot of face pain. My jaw locks up underneath, and then go into all the other shit. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be high on that one.
Hey, if you're gonna do those gummies, are you then also gonna play some contractors? I'm actually down.
Yep.
I'm actually down to team up. We just go with some pistols to Metro and have a good time.
Oh, for sure. Like I think we were playing contractors when I hit. Oh no, we were playing different games. Sorry, we hit 420 and I did 600 milligrams that stream.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, so I was kind of just like, oh fuck, like where are we going? Where are we to now? Uh, so yeah, so anybody that wants to follow and see that, go ahead, WOOKfett. We're gonna start at 150 milligrams and then just work our way up from there. And we're only 16 followers away from that, so
All right.
close.
So you hear it, guys. Give him a follow and make it possible that he reaches his goal today, so he can
Oh, go
get
live
more
this
high as
afternoon.
usual.
Yeah. And this is me. Like I'll smoke like this before stream, and then when we get on stream, we'll smoke like another 40 bowls sometimes. I think my record right now is 58 bowls on stream.
Wow.
So
All right. But
yeah.
to recap a little bit of it, so you told a little bit about yourself, how you started streaming, and also quite a few personal things. But if we go back to the streaming part, like your journey, you said like you started like 10, maybe 12, 14 years ago.
Mhm.
How long did it took before you went into the VR community? Because VR is there already for a few years, but did you hop on straight to VR? How did you discover VR gaming?
That was so when I got put on disability, and then I found VR when I was looking for like it was either a PS5 or something else, and I couldn't find a PS5 for any kind of value. It was all scalpers, and then I found the Quest 2. So I got that, started playing, found Onward, Pavlov's Shack, Echo VR. Like Echo Arena was fun as hell. That game was awesome. Uh and then I found Contractors, like base game Contractors, and that hook, line, sinker. And then right after I started playing that, they did the uh, what the hell was it? The Havoc update, I think it was called, where they added mods and all that kind of stuff. So now we're running through like Terminal from Call of Duty and VR. Like that's something different. Playing like all those old Modern Warfare maps in VR are fucking sick. Um, and then another game came out. I don't like talking about that game too much. I was content creator for them,
Go ahead.
and then from there, I started. I bought a PC, started streaming. Actually, I started streaming VR from my cell phone. To be honest, I was casting my cell phone and streaming Twitch mobile. That led me to buy my first PC, which I got an RX 570 and found out right away that's not a good computer.
Mhm.
And then I got the computer I have now, which is a 3070 with like an i5 12500, I think, in it.
All right. That's
And it works.
it's decent.
I got 32 gigabytes of RAM, and but it's only got an 8 gigabyte of VRAM in the card, so that kind of holds back on certain elements of streaming and playing VR. Like you got to lower your graphics when you got low VRAM and stuff. So,
But you just use it for streaming, right?
yeah, streaming VR. Like I run my VR and stream on that at the same time. And then I'm not partnered with these guys, but anybody grab this. If you're having like Wi-Fi issues or anything like this, grab that thing, delete Meta off your PC, and run that Puppis S1. I literally got rid of all my crashing with that. I've had like 2 game crashes in the last 2 months or whatever since I bought that. And it was like, what was it, high? It was like 8 crashes in like 3 hours before.
Oh yeah, you mean the game where we played, where I was like waiting for over 30 minutes before you were finally spawning in a raid that only lasted 45.
Yeah. Yeah. S1. S1.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really interesting raid where we where I was like I was actually having the time of my life, and you were toxic as hell.
Yeah, it was
And that was
bad.
completely understandable.
Yeah, but now it's been like no crashing, no problems. I run my stuff like it's cabled.
Yeah, that's for me as
You know,
well.
like
When the Wi-Fi connection is great, you don't even notice a difference with cable or Wi-Fi anymore. And that's literally what you have now as well. That's what you're saying.
yeah, it's amazing. Um, and then in that journey, I started making a whole bunch of stock. I made my own homemade stock, which was out of PVC, and it was like 1-inch tube that went into I think it was 2-inch tubing or whatever, like
Mm-hmm.
PVC pipe. And then I put 90-degree angle on the front, and then a T connector on the back one. And I made like little like I put like a custom cut the 1-inch PVC, and then put it in hot water and like bent the front so
Yeah.
it'd like bend around the controller, and then I taped the controller to that. So I kind of made that so it like disconnect, and then in old Contractors I could like grab a magazine, like hold my gun, grab a magazine off my vest, and then slap it in, and then just go back to shooting. So there's no disconnect in the stock. And then from there I developed a new one. Bought a
Before you go to
3D printer.
the next
Yeah.
part, what game were you playing when you were building your stocks? Was that already during Contractors, or was that like Pavlov time?
Base game Contractors.
Base game Contractors. Tell me a little bit
Yeah.
about it, because I've started playing Contractors when there was ExfilZone. Like, is there something else beside ExfilZone and Battle Royale? Because I hear you say, like, base game. Does that mean
Yeah,
that there's like something else, a
it's
campaign
called
or something?
yeah, it's called Contractors, and it's their first game that they made.
Mm.
That I understand from Caveman Studio. It started with like 5v5 mode, I think, and then they had their own built-in maps, and then they added a mod kit to it, and that mod kit brought in so much stuff. Jay, thank you for that follow. I saw that just now.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it it has like Halo mods, Call of Duty mods. It's got actually a PMC mod, which I was playing that PMC mod being like, "Oh my god, this like movement is amazing," because they slowed the movement down. They added like heavier footsteps. They put like weight on the grenades because base game you could like side throw a grenade like a frisbee
Mm-hmm.
and it would go like 100 yards. And you could like blow people up across the map that way. So like, you know, in Call of Duty when you like load in and just throw a grenade across the map and
Yeah.
hit 4 people, you could do that in Contractors if you knew how to throw the grenade right. Um so they added weight to stuff. They put armbands on and got rid of like the name tag over top of people. So it's
Oh,
like if they did a game mode with this mod, it would be fucking amazing. And then out of nowhere, ExfilZone dropped. So a bunch of us went over and signed up for that and been playing it since then.
and that got you pretty hooked into the game more and more and more. It's also the way how we got to know each other, of course, because I literally bought my VR headset 2 days. No, I had my headset before the wipe, but I bought Contractors 2 days after the wipe. And I think it was like just a day or 4 later, and I saw your stream for the first time, and I was like, okay, this is a really energetic guy. Whew.
Yeah, like I used to stream the old Contractors game as well, just having a lot of fun with that, you know. And then I met some guys and they had a team, so I signed up for that team and started competing in the VREL tournament,
Hmm.
which that team grew and grew and grew, and we had fucking amazing players on there. And one team won the championship, I think twice. And then there's others that were like top 5 contenders. Um, I was on one of those top 5 contender teams, but I was a meat shield. I was the one that they just sent into point all the time. So I was more about just holding point and letting everybody else murder shit because I just enjoy that shit. So yeah, so we did a lot of it was good. It was a good time competing, and then from there, uh
Just respond to the question if you want.
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, so he's asking, is there still videos? No, that wasn't even the battle royale team. That was like 5v5.
You can compare it to
Uh
games like Counter-Strike, Tarkov Arena,
yeah,
Call of Duty Search and Destroy, where you're a team of 5 versus 5. And was it, by the way, a kill game, or was it also like objective game with planting a bomb, defusing a bomb, or capturing a point?
it was objective as like it was competitive control or whatever. So it was like point open up, you get in there, you take control of that point. Once you get that, then you move on to the next
Oh,
one.
so if you get
And then
killed, you
when you kill
respawn as
people,
well.
you got points. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, it was a constant respawn,
yeah.
right? So it wasn't just like bomb where you kill everybody and it's done, which they do have bomb mode in that. They've also got Halo mods. Like, guys, if you want to support Caveman, go check out it's on standalone and Steam. Go check out base game Contractors. It's 5v5. They even have 16v16 lobbies now. They have Halo mods with vehicles. They have PMC mods. So if you want to play like a 5v5 ExfilZone type thing. Like people are like, oh, they should make a 5v5 mode. It's like
It's already
they
there.
have it. You just gotta go, yeah, you gotta buy the game, go play it, download the mods.
Mm.
Um, but it's meta PC, it's standalone, and it's on Steam. Highly recommend that. Um, yeah. Like actually I've been looking to buy it on Steam, to be honest.
Wait,
So like I
you
said,
don't
I
have it
believe in
yet? You
meta.
don't have it yet on Steam?
No, I don't have it on Steam yet.
Oh, okay.
I've been so busy on Xfil that I haven't been back to that, you know? Like they hit the mark for what I wanted on Xville, and they just like there's some things that they could do to help the guys like us that are already level 50 and that can hit level 50 right away.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like there's some things they could add and do and whatever, but like, we'll wait to get to that.
Well, no, it's actually a nice subject to switch on to because, like, we can start talking about the game, but there's like one thing left that I'm really curious about, because you started playing Contractors, and one thing that is really noticeable every time when you stream is that you are holding a very particular stock that it's not something like the Pro Tube or whatsoever. Yeah, it looks like something you made yourself. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so like I was saying, with the old, like, I started with the PVC pipe. I asked a friend to print some grips, and then I made those grips attached to the PVC pipe, and then I was like, started talking to him. So shout out to Furry Potato, who's my 3D printing guru. He told me a bunch of stuff about 3D printing, which printers to look out for at that time, and all that kind of stuff. And yes, actually, there is in this. I gotta put my YouTube channel up here, Wookie on the Tube. I'll go uh get that link in a minute. But yeah, so we got this stock. How I developed it is so that there's actually something that locks this stock at 90 degrees. The reason why it's going see-through like that, guys, is because of my green screen. But the other side is more of like a reddish maroon. Um, and then it like moves, the foregrip locks in. Each streamer that I've partnered with, like Haya has his. You get that there's a name tag
Yeah,
there.
I can grab it.
Side. On the back side, you can add your own gamer tag. That's possible. So when you purchase it, you just put it in the comments, and I think I have a way already put up there for people to do that. So, yeah, so we're gonna go more public with it right away. That is how. Oh, thanks, buddy. Yeah, that's the stock. It's been a long process. I talk about it a lot. Like the one I use on stream is still like the prototype print.
The same one that I. Oh wait, that's also again a different one. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's like these are the first grips that I printed like a year and a half ago. And then this was like the first print I did of this new stock, and it's just worked ever since. Like even my foregrip here is different. This is like the first foregrip I ever printed of this design so that it locks at 90, and then you can just move it forward, bring it back. Now it's locked at 90. That's the first piece I ever printed, and I still use it, you know? It's nostalgic to me. So until it breaks, which it hasn't yet, so I assume it won't. So
By the way, it doesn't matter if you talk too much about it. Like you made something really cool. It all I've used the stock myself. It feels like it's actually a stock made for contractors, because it separates in two parts as you showed, and it becomes an extension of your arm, and you keep the complete freedom of using your backpack while we're loading, while I don't know, like throwing toilet paper at your friend. You can do everything with it, you know, and it's a really great stock.
I find, like, if you're holding it and you get used to like everything just kind of sitting on your forearms like this, everything just moves like it's a part of your body. You don't feel it. And then if you get into a quick gunfight and you just like that, like the only reason why I have this is for sniping. Like honestly, if it wasn't for that, I'd probably go back to my old design, which would not have any of this buttstock attached to it at all. It would just be this part.
Yeah, I totally get that. Like I noticed it as well, because when I used the gun stock myself, it was really helping me out with sniping. But when I use like close range fights, or I just play with a red dot, I still prefer the freehand, me personally. But if I talk to new players, like people that just bought the game and they are like, oh dude, I have issues like getting the hang of it, like putting my hands in the same direction and putting it at the right eye and yada yada yada, then I'm always like, yeah, you should actually get a gun stock, because the gun stock is a really good way of getting used to the aiming in the game. And in a lot of VR shooters, it doesn't even need you don't even need to calibrate it. Like at least I didn't have to. And then when people are responding 9 out of 10 times with, yeah, but gun stocks are so expensive, they're like $200, $150, $80, and then my response is always, hey, have you checked out the Wook stock? Because that stock is actually below $100. And it's
And that was
yeah,
always my plan too, not to cut you off, but the plan was always to make, if I was gonna sell a stock, I was gonna make something that would be less than $100 and people would get full functionality out of it. They
yeah,
also get like with this, so this is a stock attached, but like the grips pop off. So it's not like everything is printed together. So no matter what happens, if you want to go freehand, now you've got these pistol grips. Right? And that's usually about a $30 purchase on its own to just get something like that. It's built for Quest 2 and Quest 3, so
yeah.
the tracking holes are for the Quest 3 controller there. The Pro fits in there as well. Um, and then like even if you wanted to, if you like your freehand not having any of this on, so you can just pop that grip off, and then you can go to just having that buttstock feeling.
Yeah.
Um, with that said, this extends. Yeah, I've had some feedback, and I took that feedback to heart and just tried to like build off of that, and that's where we got to with this one.
The only part that I believe you missed, and I actually really like that feature, is that you have a cheek pad.
Yeah, and for mine, I don't enjoy the cheek pad, but people talk about the cheek pad,
Mm-hmm.
so we built a cheek pad.
Yeah. Like you can lift that part up,
And
yeah,
that
as you showed right now, and then you can put like literally your cheek on it when you're aiming, and it makes
and I
everything
found
really
certain
really
guns
steady.
to make it so that you don't even have to calibrate this in game.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I designed this buttstock here, so it's got this little curve on it. So if you're sitting here with a gun that sits flat, it's great, but now you can raise that up, and then it just like rolls on the collarbone.
Yeah.
Um, or on the shoulder, it rolls up smoothly. Chummy. Um, sorry, he gets me every time. Uh, so it's actually really good when you're looking through, like, you've got, say, an FPO or a hollow on your gun. You can be down here, and then all of a sudden you want to look through Levo, and then it just rises up, and it's smooth, feels good. Um, yeah, it was just put together with people's feedback and what I like, and this is where we got to.
Really nice. Like I said, you made something really cool, and you should definitely be proud of it. So you can never talk too much about it. Like that's the only thing I wanted to say. I do hear you talk a lot about it, but you got all the right to do that. 100%.
Yeah, I try to let other people talk about it, that's always been a motto of mine too, is just be humble, and like if there's anything to be said about anything, other people are going to talk, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of one of my things about it, is I try to let other people speak for it when they use it, and if it that's when you find out when stuff is good.
Mm-hmm. All right, so like we have already talked about a lot of stuff, like who you are, what you do, what you have done, even your own products. Like that's so cool. But stuff that people are really interested about as well. Like your main game that you're streaming right now is
So
ExfilZone.
definitely on ExfilZone mostly. I do want to get back into my Valheim playing,
Felheim.
but
Hmm.
yeah, because there's a mod for Valheim for VR, and I'd never play Valheim flat screen, but I would watch my buddy Cho Billy play it in VR, and I was like, all right, well, like that looks cool. I think I could get into that, and then all of a sudden I became Wook the Builder in Valheim. I had to build everywhere out of everything I got. So Wook the Builder, the Carpenter came out, and oh fuck, I built up like a huge like resort hotel, I call it, and it's got all the portals that take you places down in like a basement dungeon built out of rocks and like steel cages and stuff
Mm-hmm.
with torches lighting it up, and then you go up into the hotel, and then that's like all fancy and shit, and all my friends have their own fucking rooms to store their shit and build their boxes in and stuff like that. So I built like a legitimate hotel, and then it's got a huge fireplace in the middle of it that goes from the floor to the ceiling, and then it's blocked off by this sick metal cage all the way around. It looks so sick in VR.
All right, let's give this guy a little second. He needs his medicine.
Especially when I'm sitting. When I'm sitting, shit gets really hurt.
Yeah, you need. Okay. So when you're standing, it's actually you can like ignore the pain longer, and when you're sitting, it's worse.
Yeah, because like when I'm sitting, I'm putting a lot of pressure on like my back.
Oh yeah, of course.
I don't know how to explain it, but like there's no way to take that pressure. Even if I put my feet up, it's like that kink in that the back, and then
Hmm.
it's like all of a sudden it radiates and
But
stuff.
what if you
But
what if you would eat a little bit more and you gained like some bigger cheeks? Like could that like balance it out a
well,
bit
that
more?
like going back into like the health and like personal stuff is I used to actually like compete in martial arts, boxing, and
Oh,
like
cool.
do a lot of weightlifting. Trying to keep like it's hard for me to gain weight, but I used to be about 180 to 190
Mm-hmm.
walking around, and then some health shit happened, and all of a sudden, like I can't gain weight now, and I lost a bunch of weight. So that's a constant battle is trying to get the appetite, gain weight, and all that kind of stuff. And then I can't work out like I used to.
What does the
I
marijuana
tried, man.
do with your
Awful.
appetites? Sorry to interrupt you, but I hear a lot of
Uh,
stories that people get like the munchies, you know, people want to eat after they use it. But I also know that there are different types of marijuana and everything has a different effect, of course. But
I'm also a believer, like since like I started smoking and I had a lot of pain when I started smoking.
mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't really get that too much. I believe that if there's a background lying purpose to why you're using cannabis, then um it like kind of treats that in your body, like the cannabinoids that
Mm-hmm.
go into your system kind of help that out before you get all giggly and hungry and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you don't really have that background lying issue, then yeah, you're gonna get the munchies, the giggles, and all that kind of stuff. But I find if you eat the edibles, that's a different world.
That's a different world.
That's a different.
Okay. Well, and I'm gonna say enough about that part, but it is really interesting, of course. And if people want to know more, they can always join your stream and they can ask you more questions about it, of course. But let's also hop a little bit into the matter of hand because we do have Contractors Showdown ExfilZone community, of course. So it's also your main game right now to stream. You've been playing the game literally from the start. And I am just curious, like, how is the wipe faring for you? How are you enjoying the game? Like, you're max level right now. You got everything done. Like, what do you do to keep it? Like, how is the game still fun for you? Like, what do you do? Like, do you have like any plans before you go live? Like, how do you approach a stream of Contractors, especially when you're done?
Actually, I started to like play golf before I go live. So I go play golf, golf 5 E Club or whatever, which is all right. You'll see me get mad about that because it's got some bugs to it, but that's VR in general. Uh, and that's where like I try not to get mad about the game bugs because it's VR in general. Like I've got my opinion about standalone, and like I started on this headset, guys, like my Quest 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's the headset I started with like 2.5 years ago or whatever, and I still use it. I just use it PC VR now because I went and spent the money on a used PC. That was under $1,000 and I still use it now, so it's like 2 years later or something. Um, Golf Plus is better, CJ, but here's the thing
I
that I'll
agree.
say about playing on PC, right? uh my PC was having a lot of problems because Meta was running in the background all the fucking time and it was causing stuttering, lags, and crashes. I found that out by deleting Meta off of my PC and then using Steam Link and then this Puppet S1. Uh like I get now like a wired connection straight to my PC without being wired. And I crash I said I crashed like twice and since I've got the Puppets. So yeah, so Go Plus isn't on Steam. I can't play it. Right? Like I can
Same for
fire
me.
up my headset and play it on standalone, but then I'm gonna have to go to the website and then I'm gonna have to cast it and then it's gonna look like shit when I'm casting it.
It's
So
literally the same for me. Like I do play Golf Plus as well, but I don't stream it. And it like I literally play it with my dad, and we go to the garden. I got like a big garden, and we got a television in the garden as well. And then we play
mm,
standalone, and we stream the game on that television. And then yeah, you have like my dad standing in the garden, and he's like playing golf, and I'm like sitting in a couch watching the television with a beer in my hand, and that's what we do from time to time. It's a lot of fun, but it is really hard to stream, especially because we don't want to use the meta applications on the computer, because it actually makes us crash 10 times more than usual.
yeah, and whatever that is that makes that happen, I don't know, but it is directly related to meta. And that's just through troubleshooting. I'm not trying to talk down on meta. It's just troubleshooting led us to that thing. And like if I put meta back on my PC, I'll be crashing all the time in a stream, and I'd rather not.
Yeah, I think most people that play Steam VR, or at least PC VR, or whatever you want to call it. Most people know that you should delete the Meta app and make sure that you
Mhm.
played cable, or you use you have a good Wi-Fi and you have everything stable, or even a dedicated network like myself, and then
Yeah,
it's all Gucci.
and then once
Yeah.
if money is not becomes not a problem for you, then you can and you like wired. Well, then you can start looking into like the big screen too. Even now, the big screen beyond one, it'll get cheaper, right, for one of those, and it's just like tiny little like Wise Director VR Central uses it.
Mm-hmm.
Vinsanity uses it. There's a bunch of other people that are using that, and it's but you got to then spend 1,000 on that, and then you got to get all the Valve stuff as well.
Yeah,
So it's not cheap. It's not cheap.
it's a
That's
luxury
where Valve
product.
is also talking about that Deckard, and I'm really looking into that. Like, I'm waiting for that to come out.
Mm-hmm. Like I tried to ask it before, but how is your contractor's experience faring? And do you have like any pointers you want to share in this interview? Because that's also something we are all really curious about, of course. And yeah, just take us through one of your contractor streams. Like, what do you do to prepare? How long do you stream? Is there a specific goal you have now since you're level 50? That's something I'm really curious about.
Yeah, I don't know. The goal is usually like if there's somebody leveling up, I like that because then I can help them level up and
Mm-hmm.
get their stuff, right? Money. We all like money. I like to build cool shit in my hideout, so I've got actually like a rock concert built in or like just a concert hall built. I got a drummer on there, I got a guitar, fucking bass guy, I got the lead singer who's a gold guy, and then security around the stage. The stage is made out of gold bars. I take every single guy that I collect, like every single bobblehead dude, I put in to the concert hall. So I think I'm up to like 150 or so now, chilling out in there. Um but I share them too, so, like, if anybody needs them, I'll share them with them. But getting ready for the stream is usually just, like, if I wake up and got enough energy, I'll do a wake and bake stream, and then other than that, it'll be building up energy and then jumping on for an afternoon stream.
How long do you
Uh,
stream, like, average? Because you said you do short streams now because of your condition.
I try to do short streams, so sometimes I'll do a 3-hour stream, hop back on for, like, a 9-hour stream. Other times I'll just stream for, like, 18 hours. I think I just had a 16-hour stream or
Hmm.
17-hour stream a few days ago. And it all just depends on the body. Like I let my body lead how long I go for and the chat and stuff. And and then I just play.
And
Uh
is it like mostly
yeah, go ahead.
spontaneous, or do you have like a schedule?
It's kind of spontaneous. There's a little bit of a schedule, but like it's hard to keep that schedule because like some days I just don't have the energy to do a wake and bake stream. So
No, I get that.
yeah, So I just try to get the energy and then go. So it's usually a coffee day. Otherwise, I just like wake up, turn my shit on, and then press the start streaming button and go, okay, I gotta do this.
And well, it took you of course a bit, and it's still really fast. But you're max level now. You have had your experiences this wipe and also last wipe, because you were also max level last wipe, right?
Yeah.
If you compare the current wipe with the first wipe, have you noticed? And that's like the thing that I'm really interested about. Have you noticed things that have changed in a negative way this wipe, or is everything positive compared to the last one? For you.
I would say it's like comparatively, like if there's like this one that we're thinking about to this one,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty much all positive,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is there cons in that? Yeah, but I feel like the cons came from last wipe as well.
Yeah, okay.
I don't feel like the wipe made cons, it just didn't fix some. Or
Yeah, it
and
was
they're
more
really
like a
like
content wipe and not a bug fix wipe. That's what you're trying to say, or?
I feel like they fixed things and added a fucking ton of things, right? So it's like, which I'm trying to like think of like the bugs, because there's a lot of bugs last wipe.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of bugs. There's like a lot of connection issues. Like I know there's still connection issues, but I don't feel like there's as many connection issues. Um, and if you guys on standalone are having connection issues, like I said, say a lot. It's like Meta has processing and like it's hard on hardware, and for the standalone to be running a Meta software and blasting it to a VR headset at like but whatever hertz and frames that you're trying to get, your cell phone is going to be conflicting with Meta, and that's probably causing a lot of crashing issues for the standalone people. That's just me with the PC learning that Meta was an issue, right? So I'd
Yeah.
imagine it's hard on a cell phone too. Um, so I always recommend people, like, if you can save up, get a PC. If you can't, you're just gonna have issues with games. It's not necessarily contractors causing that problem because there's other games crashing. Um, so with that said, going back to the game directly, the things that the cons that I'd be talking about are like certain textures that your stuff's gonna go through, because
Mm-hmm.
like say the grass comes up at this angle, but the meshing is like at this angle,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it starts off that you can put your gear here, but as you go up this grassy and all, that the meshing, when you drop something, it's going to drop down to here.
Yeah.
And then when you're at like, say, 25 yards, you've got this like texture of whatever rolling across the landscape. But then you get to like 50 yards or 75 yards, and all of a sudden that one hill's gone. And then you get to 100 yards, and then all the hills are gone, and Buddy's head's just like right there. So, like, one example of that is Resort. When you're at Lighthouse, if you try to run across the rocks, I
Mm-hmm.
don't recommend anybody does that. I'm not going to tell you my route, but I don't recommend anybody does that. And it's like, because if you're at Bridge, if you spawn Bridge, Impact VR, and I like to go to Bridge and snipe across, none of the hills are there. Right? They're all gone at that point. You're
Mm-hmm.
you're like 100 and some meters away. All the hills are gone. You see heads all over the place there. Even if you're running out from the tunnel and you go to push the lighthouse, whoever spawns Bridge is going to see you. If you go up to the hospital, all those hills are gone. Not all of them, but most of them. And then standalone guys don't see grass that much, from what I understand. Like, grass is here and there.
It's also based on your
But
settings. There is a setting that changes the foliage a lot as well.
right. Uh, there's pros and cons to that. I don't know how they would fix that unless they just dropped the texture down and made it flatter
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, because maybe it's just hard for them to mesh all the hills they have. I don't know. Right. And I'm not talking shit on Caveman right now either. I don't know any of how that works, but like that is a problem. Like, even if you kill boss on Resort in the tunnel that
Mm-hmm.
leads from the vault into the sewer,
Yeah, he
everything's
drops to
gone.
the
Like
floor there if you
boss,
kill him in
player,
that part.
everything.
Yeah, yeah. Players,
Yeah,
everybody
so
fall
like
through there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so if you get in a gunfight with a player there, it is what it is. But if you're fighting boss there, drag them into the vault or out into the sewer and fight them.
Yeah.
'Cause otherwise you lose the stuff, and it's like that in a lot of different areas. Another thing we're noticing this wipe is like replication issues of like you might shoot somebody and run up on their body and they're not there for you, but
Mm-hmm.
somebody else is like pulling a backpack out of nowhere. Um, or a person drops a gun here and it ends up over there for somebody else.
Yeah.
So replication issues,
Mm-hmm.
however that is, right? Um,
If we take a positive one, what if you compare both wipes again? What was the best fix in your opinion?
content. Or what is it?
Fix,
Lootable shit.
fix, not something they
Oh,
added,
fix,
but what is the
fix.
best
Oh,
fix
the
they have
biggest
done?
fix. I would say like crashing issues because they keep. I can't say there's a single one, but if you go on their Discord and follow their updates, and like I have their bug fix and stuff, their update channel and my Discord.
Same.
Um, so like that updates what 3 times a month probably, and there's not a lot of games putting that much effort
No,
into their stuff.
true. I was actually really
Um,
happy with the reconnect button. That was, in my personal opinion, one of the better fixes they've done last wipe.
which one, sorry?
The reconnect button. That if you crash,
Oh
you
yeah,
are still able to reconnect without just saying goodbye to all your pixelated loot.
yeah, and then with that said though, I feel like there's something in there that came from the previous wipes to why you'll disconnect in a raid, and it's like most of the time it's tied to bringing in other people's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like if you bring too much into raid, it becomes a problem
We've actually experienced
on
that
your
one time. There was a moment where I was playing in a trio and we literally had a map wipe in Hydertown. So everybody, all the 12 players were in Hydertown. Both my teammates died. And when I killed the last guy, guess what happened?
game crash.
No. All the bodies, backpacks, everything disappeared. It all just,
Hmm?
it was all gone. Like
That like
it felt
replication thing.
like it, and it was also late in the raid, so I was able to check a few backpacks before because I was trying to grab a grenade or a bandage or whatever. But I was able to see that all those players, they looted the map. They came all together in Hydertown with all the loot that was scattered across the map, and that was all in one location. And when the last body dropped, it was just too much for the server, and I don't know why that's a response, but all the bodies, all the backpacks, everything just disappeared. It was so
Yeah, and
weird. Yeah.
like Tag said, if you're using game chat comms and you disconnect and come back, it's like it's good that you're with your team.
Mm-hmm.
It just does suck that you'll lose that game chat.
Yeah.
Right? Because suddenly you're like, oh, okay, now we got to go reset this round, right?
Yeah.
And you're usually right at spawn, so it's a pain in the ass. Um, Again, this is another reason why like I'll push PC VR. Like Tag put two reasons into chat why I recommend people push a little bit of savings here and there if you're taking VR into like a long like your gaming lots.
Mm-hmm.
Get a PC for you can see further, and uh the communication thing. You have Discord, and if you try to use Discord on standalone, I recommend people don't do it because I believe your standalone will always take the game priority
Yeah.
when Discord, which is again a resource whore on
Mm-hmm.
PC, so it's going to be a resource whore on your meta. And when it becomes that resource whore, meta says fuck you and turns it off. And then you're back to game chat.
Yeah, and that happens a lot to a lot of people. Literally, what you just said. If in my personal stream I would do like a viewer game, and he's playing standalone, we use the in-game voice chat, of course. But I'm always afraid from the pling sound when we're in loading, because then I know my fellow viewer crashed, and then he doesn't have any communications anymore. And they are also not able to go on Discord. So what happens 9 out of 10 times that they go on Discord on their phone, they plug in one AirPod in their ears, and then it's all okay. But the standalone headsets don't really support a secondary app like Discord to be like running in the background, and that makes communications especially really hard when somebody crashes in the game. So that is something I would like to see fixed as well in the next wipe or in the near patches. That if you reconnect, it also reconnects the chat, the voice chat. That would be awesome.
The color, right? Like at least you get to be in your team. Because I can understand that when you disconnect, it's kind of like you're off the server, but you still have the ability to reconnect to that server. Like Optical was saying there. He doesn't think it's, or they don't think it's necessarily a game issue. And I agree with that. It could be that like server thing where the game keeps you on the squad, but you're using a server chat that's connected within the like I don't know. So that when you get back in there and you're trying to use game chat or whatever, it's like you've already disconnected from it and that part doesn't reconnect. So whether it's like the Vivox or whatever that like isn't reconnecting or something, it's like that could be game, maybe not, but yeah. So there's parts of that yeah, I think they're working on it. We always see them updating stuff. Like I said, they're always updating stuff, and I give them credit for that. They're trying to fix issues. So that's where it gets really hard to like really pick on stuff because we're seeing them try. And I think it's just a VR thing. I think it's the whole crossplay between like I believe they've got Pico support, they've got Quest 2, Quest 3, and Steam.
Yeah. They don't have everything.
Right. So I don't know if Pico has to play through Steam or if they've got their own standalone, and then whatever else is connected to it that they've got to create all those different things and make all the updates for that and it's like it's not like playing a PlayStation game that's like a PlayStation game and they get the PlayStation updates. No,
Yeah.
They have to update for every system that they're connected to.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing, I assume.
And I got to give them credit to that. And like when we don't get certain updates, I could understand how it could just be possibly conflicting in areas that they can't figure out. So I try to give them all the benefit of the doubt that I can,
Yeah.
Outside of that, there's a lot of different directions, and like even with the battle royale, if we're talking about Showdown as a whole, right? Like because ExfilZone, like actually, let's finish on ExfilZone, and then I'll go into my idea for the battle royale.
Just give me 1 second, Wook, because I also see people responding in the chat. For people that have joined this interview, we are now talking about contractors. Wook is telling his stuff. When he's done with that, I'm gonna ask him one more question about the next upcoming wipe. And then Wook will answer questions to the chat. So chat can ask questions. I will read them out loud, and then Wook will give his answers. So if you have questions, save them up, and you can ask all your questions away when we will tell you. You were saying, Wook.
Yeah. So more positives about the game, right? Like on updates is. Again, they just keep updating stuff. Now, if I was to pick a couple things that they could update and add to the game, would be like higher level missions or just like daily challenges. Possibly the ability to prestige. So you lose all your stuff, you get a special little fucking emblem on your name, or maybe like a little like star on your armor, or like a little like prestige thingy like Call of Duty.
I was talking about gloves,
but not like Call of Duty. Yeah,
get your
like,
own customizable prestige
too.
gloves. That's something that I would like a lot. Just so that if you see somebody in the raid, you can just go be like this, like, look at my hands, fuck you.
Um, so it's hard to say because like look at anybody that played last wipe compares to this wipe. It's like let's talk about the hideout in general, right? Like the hideout was more cramped last
Yep.
wipe. Now it's spread out. You can
Mm-hmm.
have more stuff. Um and it's less glitchy. Um However, back to like the raid problem and the disconnect. Have you ever noticed grabbing something in your hideout and you get frame drop?
No,
It could
I
be a
don't.
helmet, it could be
No,
a
no, no.
gun,
I
it
don't
could be
have.
a
I personally don't have frame drops when I grab items, but what I do have is when I hold an item in my hands and I advance from one part of the wipe to the other part. I have a single frame drop and I drop the item. And 9 out of 10 times I can pick the item up, but with a little bit of bad luck, the item falls to the ground, and then I have to go into the shooting range and back, so the item is actually back into my kiosk. But that is something that could be really frustrating. But the funny thing is, before I switched to a dedicated network, I had random frame drops in the wipe or in the hideout for just walking around, standing there, or grabbing an item, literally what you were just saying. Right now, I only have it when I advance from one part of the hideout to the next part. So I can actually run freely around the whole hideout. But when I advance from level 1 to the next storage area, that's where I get frame drops. Because I think in the game coding, there is something that the game knows, like this is the area that's loaded in. And the next area still needs to render or load the moment you pass that border. And that's the moment
okay.
where I can get a frame drop. But the funny thing is, I only get the frame drop when I have something in my hands. When I'm carrying nothing, I can just run there and nothing happens. It's pretty interesting, actually. Like, I'm not a game designer myself, so I don't really know what I'm talking about when I start saying words like coding, but it
Right.
makes sense to me if I say it like that.
I think that's another thing that comes back to the VR development side that becomes an issue is that like in the VR development, like you're talking about running up those stairs and I don't have that problem on the Quest 2, right? Playing Steam VR, but I don't have that problem. And then it's like that's where I believe you have the problem, and there's a problem there. It's just as developers and having like help test games and report bugs and
Hmm.
stuff, and it's like being told like we can't replicate the issue. It's like, well, like it happens every time on my end.
Yeah,
Right. So it's like when you know it's not your hardware and you know it's not that problem or anything like that, it's like, well, there's something happening here and then they can't replicate it, so they don't know what to fix with it. Right?
true.
And it's like they only have like say 14 guys in their own or 20 guys in their own circle, just throwing a number out there trying to
Yeah.
like replicate the frame drops. But then they can't do it. But then they hear of like maybe 100 other people that are playing the game being like, yeah, no, I get those frame drops too. And they're like, well, how the fuck? Right. And then that's when they ask you to send in like, there's like a data log that Meta keeps of stuff and it'll like show you whatever. I still don't understand that, but it's in the files.
Hmm.
And then they'll ask you to send that. And it's like, please walk me through how to get that. Like, I don't. And then what one am I looking for? My bad.
No, it's not your
So
bad.
yeah,
It's medicinal marijuana, so you're good.
so I can understand how it's hard for VR developers to really make that assumption on what's happening and then to replicate it over and over again because for all they know, it could be a little bit of a Wi-Fi issue on people's ends and they're not noticing it. It could be like possibly that a certain part of the settings is set up too high for certain
Hmm.
things and you're only noticing it in certain areas. Like I had that problem myself. Um I'd be running through resort and I would get into like bank and then I get small little frame drops or like I go through buy and I get small frame drops certain parts of the um um like the mall and get frame drops. So I played with my Steam settings and my game settings and now I'm not getting those frame drops.
Hmm.
So if it's something that like not a lot of people are getting, it could just be a setting, and we're not thinking about that setting. And I learned that because I was having so many problems, like we talked about before. I was having so many problems that I was playing with settings, I was playing with software, I was playing with this, that, the other thing, to now where I've got it running buttery smooth. And it was like tiny little settings, like Steam resolution
Yeah,
is a big one.
that's a big one, 100%. I've played around with that a lot as well before. I had to tweak around a lot before I was actually happy with how the game was looking for me and how I was able to have a decent FPS and play the game in a nice way. Is there like that's one of the biggest questions also because we are getting close to ending this interview. Is there something that like not something you would implement yourself, but is there like something that you are like hoping on really hard that they're gonna fix or add to the next wipe? Is there something like you're secretly waiting off?
Like my big one, if we're talking ExfilZone, it would be like the crafting
A
station, as
crafting
I like to say.
system.
Either for like the kitchen, uh, guns, like I kind of like how they have the guns, to be honest, because it's just less coding,
Mm-hmm.
swapping parts and all that kind of shit. Like imagine going into game and having to swap your like whole front assembly of a gun to put it onto another gun, like in Tarkov.
Yeah.
That would just break the game. So I kind of like how the guns are all pre-built that way, just for the standalone reasoning. Um, yeah, outside of that, it would be the battle royale. They really need to fix the battle royale to get people back into playing that. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like one way that they could do it is to turn it more into like a hunt showdown type thing.
Yeah.
Take that whole map, put some bosses, extra like special gear in places, and make it really fucking hard to get that gear.
Yeah.
And you have to go in with your gear that you bring in is from ExfilZone, and
Mm-hmm.
then go into that one, and then you'd be going after specialized gear. I feel like that's one way that like all the high tier, like the level 50 guys would go into there for the extra stuff. And you'd be battling more level 50 people. You like right now we got a problem. They just did the sale, so there's a lot of naked people running around.
Yep.
So as a level 50 person, like M995s aren't really what you want to take, but at the same time you run into the geared guys that take like the armor piercers and the
Mm-hmm.
M995s, or M993s, M61s, and like you only get so many of those. So you don't want to be putting them into nakeds. I feel like that battle royale, if they could integrate it with the exfil zone and your gear, would be the best way to go.
Really cool. I really like that idea. Short recap. We have done a little over an hour interviewing Wook, and it was not only about contractors. We really wanted to know, like, who is WOOKfett? What does he do? Where does he come from? And all of that stuff. And I have actually seen some questions popping on in the chat as well. So I want to give you guys like, let's say another 5, maybe 10 minutes before we close the interview. If you guys have any questions for Wook, I will read them out loud and then Wook can answer those questions. But I'm also going to say the troll questions I will not read out loud, of course, because this is also a video that's going to be posted on YouTube. So behave yourself, guys.
I am a Canadian that wants to be American, all right?
No, just questions about WOOKfett. Like, if you have any questions about him or about the contractors that has something to do with WOOKfett or about his gun stock,
guys,
let me know.
anything goes. Anything goes. Like, honestly, if you were to watch my stream, anything goes. I mark them as 18 plus and 420. We smoke weed, eat weed, we have fun, and we don't. Yes, have you seen this hand? We have everything on the way. Like everything is talkable.
All right.
Right now, though, I'm smoking Granddaddy Perps. Sorry, here.
Yeah, the first question that I see right now is, did you have, do you have or a favorite strain of medicine? Like, can you give an answer to that?
A favorite? Indica. If it's pure indica, I'll smoke it. It could be like 18%. It could be 45%. I don't care. like indica. That's all I smoke all day, every day. Sativa gives me bad anxiety. Even the hybrids give me bad anxiety. So yeah,
Mm.
heavy indica.
I got a question from Tak. Would you like the idea if ExfilZone added things like streamer items? Yes or no, and why?
I think that'd be all right. Like I was saying last wipe, actually. I think like if we were to get streamer items, it would either be the bobbleheads because it would be the easiest thing to turn into an item,
Oh.
or uh here's a different one is like say you find like that aerosol can, say you found one of those
Mm-hmm.
and it was like a streamer aerosol can, and then you were able to put your armor on the thingy thing and then like add that to your armor stand so you get like 2-3 uses out of it, and then you'd run like an armor that has that streamer's logo on it,
All right.
and you get like 2 or 3 armors and helmets that are, you know, that streamers like, even if it was just like a tiny little thing that was like up on the helmet or whatever, or like a little patch that's like the sweater, like that's something that I would want on my armor. You'd have that on your fucking armor right there, you know.
I actually also
Like
have a message from the Golfar, and he says, I just want to say I have mad respect for someone with a life-limiting condition. Go about his day, at least for the viewer, comfortable and entertaining. Many others have taken other routes in life being devastating, and you're here being one awesome streamer. It's a huge
I
compliment.
appreciate the fuck out of that. That's something that, like, how can I say? Like I said, I did martial arts and boxing, and I competed at that before. Not to say that I was successful at it, but like I did it. And to find out later in life what was causing me to not train when I needed to be training is like, well, that would have been nice to know then, right? But like I've done a lot of things in my life that I feel other people would have not done. And then I like wrestling. I'll tell every kid to wrestle. Go into wrestling class, and I learned that later in life, but go to wrestling class. I also played hockey my whole life, so like there's never give up attitude. Like you're down by 3 goals, you don't fucking give up. That's where you put the heart into it and you try. So I got to play high level hockey with that thinking. And then I took that into training for martial arts and stuff, and then did private security and stuff, and then did like other training. Uh, and like there's things, mind over matter, you know. So when you're in pain, you just work around the pain and you find ways around it. So that I recommend everybody do that, no matter what kind of pain you're in or shit that you're going through. Mind over matter. There's always tomorrow, and like if you could put one foot in front of the other, fucking do it. And if you can't even do that and just move your arms, and I've been there, drag yourself around. You know, eventually the legs will work, or you'll figure it out. You know.
Nice. I've actually seen another question, but that was asked like way before. What would you say are the basics to starting to stream?
I honestly, that like when I got serious about wanting to stream VR and be good at it, I just I looked at YouTube at like the successful people and their advice, and it was always like never look at your numbers, have fun, play what makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost a lot of viewers playing what didn't make me happy. Um, so just stay to what makes you happy, what you want to do. Um, you know, if cameras aren't your thing, don't worry about the camera. If you want, like, the camera to me was a way for me to introduce my fun side to everybody so they could see how much fun I'm having playing games and how much fun I'm having interacting with the chat. So everything in my channel points is interactive. And then my subscribers get their own special interactive things, and it's mostly dancing, singing, smoking weed, having fun, doing
George
all
Michael.
the good stuff. So, yeah, George
George
Michael's a
Michael.
fucking
Woo!
oh my god, hot shit. If you want to see a hot dude doing hot dude things for hot dudes, you go watch George Michael. And there's another thing. This is like another motto to life that I have with guys like Haya, Ghost of Phoenix, Charles. Like, there's so many people out there. Like, even everybody in chat is that we make gay dudes jealous how hot we are for straight dudes and show how hot straight dudes are. You know, like, and that's a compliment because like we fucking we pride our hot dudes. You know, so
I got another.
you
I
know.
got another question from Tak. What would you say is the best and the worst game you've played in VR thus far, but you are not allowed to include ExfilZone?
Best and worst game? Best game, Valheim. Hands down. That's always at the top of my list. The best game I played in VR is Valheim. Like, you want to sit on top of a thing and smoke some weed and watch the sun go down and just have this fucking awesome sunset, the ocean doing its thing, you know? Like, you could be on a boat just floating out in the ocean enjoying the sunset until a serpent comes after you and you scream and yell and notice you got front winds, not tail winds, so you're fighting a serpent standing still. Uh and then you're in first person VR, so the serpent's like, 100 feet long and it's fucking huge. You're looking up at this thing as it's screaming at you, and you're screaming in fucking not the same language back at it. Um, or you're running through the forest and you come into a troll that's like fucking 50 feet tall and just absolutely huge.
Oh,
Pure
yeah, he
VR?
says now I should have clarified
Uh,
VR and pure VR game. Don't, not including mods.
yeah. Alright.
Best and worst.
Different? Then it would be Contractors. Contractors base game would be the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Just on a pure factor that there's a lot of different game modes to play. And then it introduced me to the PMC mod that, like, I thought if they used that motto, like I said, they would make a fucking awesome ExfilZone game.
Mm-hmm.
So the worst would be, God, at the time, it was fun as hell, but like it got boring very fast, would be Blades of Sorcery.
Oh wow, I actually love that game. But if you're not allowed to add mods, I totally agree on that. But the mods made the game
Yeah.
great. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, like even at that standalone, he's talking like standalone, and you could a lot of them actually a lot of the stuff with Blades of Sorcery I played on standalone.
Yeah.
So there's some mods, but it wasn't anything fancy super. Like you'd still look over at like PC like, oh. It was like the meme of the guy with the girl and he's looking back and the girl over there is looking back and then it's got like different shit up there that would be that's like playing standalone, looking at PC and meta being like, the fuck you talking about?
Yeah, and I really loved Blade and Sorcery, but yeah, I played it through Steam VR, and I had a fucking bible of mods. It's almost unlimited how many mods there are, and you can do so much stuff in there. If you are like ever thinking about playing Blade and Sorcery, I personally highly recommend it. But the mods do add most of the fun to it. Like, for real, like I
take what I say with a grain of salt too, because I'm a shooter. So the whack and slash games have to be very interactive and not so like they just can't be stale in my opinion. In my opinion, right?
Yeah.
So what another man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah. Yeah, let's wrap up this interview. Wook, is there anything you would like to say to the chat? And before you do that, I would like to spam one more time WOOKfett Twitch link in the chat. Everybody, please give him a follow because he's working on a follower goal. I think he only needs like 10 more. Please give him a follow so he hits it because he is gonna do some crazy shit when he hits it. He's gonna eat some gummies with some THC in there. So give him a follow and go watch that stream when it's about time. And
15 milligram gummies. We're gonna eat 10 right off the rip, and then every smoke session that we do a gummy. We've got a counter that we use. I'm just gonna go dark here for a second.
Mm.
So I don't know if Haya's got it up here, but I got a little bowl. Oh, I'll move it over, I think.
Oh, wait, you got something in your full screen, or?
Hold up. There we go. That guy there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that guy. So as we spoke, but on that stream, it'll be for the edibles. So we'll be counting how many edibles we eat, and the goal is, like, I did 600 milligrams for 420. So we're gonna see if we can beat that. But it's up to the chat if we beat it.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So it's gonna be a fun one. We're gonna get high as hell. And we're gonna shoot shit. I'm gonna try to make the whole stream so I'm linked up with people, so that we can enjoy the fun with other shooters. Don't overdo it though. I don't know if there is an overdoing. I just get lost in what I'm doing and then like gaze. So, like when I did 600, it was more of like I was just ready to like sit down and look at stuff, and you can't do that when you're doing that. So what we're probably gonna do is play golf. We'll probably go to golf or something like that. Once I get too stoned, we're just gonna golf.
Smart move. Smart move.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, WOOKfett, I really want to thank you for your time, and also for being so open about your life and everything. And to everybody watching right now, if you've just popped into the stream, we are going to make sure this video is uploaded really soon to my YouTube. I will share it with Wook so he can share it with his community, but I will also share it on Discord, YouTube, of course, and Twitter. But again, thanks for your time, and I hope you enjoyed it.